Hey guys, welcome back to episode 2 of the Tiny Peyton Podcast. I'm Connor, this is Vince, and this is Tiny P. The first things first, we're going to jump into raw reactions to JT's extension. So, how you feeling about it, Vince?
I mean, it's big to get the running back position locked up for another 2 years. Jonathan Taylor's been a great Colt. Chris Ballard talked about that, and it's great to have him back. And he's going to be the focal point of our offense, continuing going forward.
Cool, yeah. So I do have, let's look at his contract compared to other running backs in the league. Okay. Let's see. Cool. Oh, they don't have JT updated, actually. Oh, is this? No. That's right?
He's supposed to be getting $22 million
Okay,
with the new extension.
With the new extension, 22 flat.
22 a year, yeah.
So he'll be the third highest paid running back. Would you say, behind Gibbs and Bijan? Would you say that's?
I think that's still fair. He's still a superstar, and he's still one of the best running backs in the league. I think he's the best when he's, feeling himself and playing well.
Yeah, I'm glad to have him back. I'm glad it didn't drag out like last time. Like, if you guys remember last time, he, held out, got hurt. We had to wait for him to come back, and it was a whole. I'm just glad we got it done at the start of camp, and we can just move forward and not have to have a headache about it.
Well, and that was a big part of it, was him being hurt with the ankle.
Yeah.
Chris Ballard felt like he needed to see Jonathan Taylor on the field with Anthony Richardson to warrant paying him. So it is really good to get him paid and not have any drama around it.
We're all fans of this. Everybody's fan. Everybody's happy. Okay. Moving on. What we kind of cut from last week was Chris Ballard's press conference, just because we didn't have time. But we do want to react to his pre-training camp press conference. Vince, what are your initial thoughts about what Chris had to say?
Yeah, so I've watched this a couple of times. We just watched it together for the first time, and a big takeaway is that we're no longer going to be doing training camp at Westfield, which
sucks.
Already been broke, but
which
yeah,
sucks.
It's the perfect place to have training camp. I love it there.
They say Carly has ideas and because they're moving it back to the facility, and what's it like? Vince said where you're gonna put up decorations. It's a perfect place for fans especially. We go every year. We're gonna go to, especially Vince is gonna go to both joint practices. We're gonna film some content for you guys there, but yeah, it's frustrating. It's frustrating because it's a great place.
That's right. And Chris Ballard talked about how it's a lot of fun watching these guys compete in this journey. He said the process has been really fun. Me and Connor say it has not been fun. This journey of 9 years now with Chris Ballard, unfortunately, hasn't been a lot of fun.
Yeah, he went on this long spiel about the journey, how much he's enjoyed it. Yeah, speak for yourself, pal.
And Chris Ballard's nice. He comes across very well, but I think a lot of our reporters have said this. We hear the same thing many of times. At this point, we all know who Chris Ballard is.
We're not attacking the guy's character. I'm sure he's a good guy, but
not at all.
We need to finally see the results of this thing pan out.
Well, and I think that was the most interesting question they asked was about his contract situation, and he just said no to it. He said we have to win, and I think that goes to show that he has the self-awareness that he's been in this spot for a long time now, and at some point you gotta have the results.
Yeah, definitely. And he said the big quote was he needs to win. What was it about? What was the direct quote? He
said no, we need to win. That was the quote.
Yeah, about his extension.
Yeah.
So we'll see if he holds himself accountable. It's kind of like a double-edged sword. I think we're getting kind of tired of Ballard, but also we're so ready to win. So if we do win, I'm sure he comes back. But I don't know, as Colts fans, I think we're just feeling frustrated at this point, right? Daniel getting hurt last year, not really his fault, but there's flaws in this roster that have peaked their head up too many times under his GM-ship, I guess. But Yeah, it's just frustrating. Do you have anything else to add?
Not really about the Chris Ballard press conference. He talked a lot about Will Mallory. He talked a lot about the edge battle with Caden Curry.
Yeah, he talked about some of the fringe guys a lot. Some of his guys that he's drafted. Talked about D-line depth. He talked about quarterback depth, which is weird. It's like, dude, they can't all be on the field at the same time. He tried to prop up Anthony's trade value.
That was a big point.
Yeah, he talked about how great of a teammate and a guy he is, which I'm sure he is, but like we can see through what you're doing.
and he reiterated too, he's not going to give them away for free. So I think he's kind of telling the teams out there, like, look, we still really like Anthony, whether that's true or not, and then we're not going to give him away for free. So
yeah. So okay. So with that out the way, we're also going to get into strategies for next season, and then we're going to do best and worst offensive and defensive performances from last season as a preview to how we want this offense and this defense to succeed this upcoming season.
That's right. So we're taking a look at some strategies and schemes for next year, and that's kind of going to segue into our best games, because I think we're trying to build off of that. We talked about how Daniel Jones got to a historic start in his first 10 weeks or so. And
he started off well this camp too, right?
And he's starting off, that's been a big headline as well, that he looks good, that he's healthy, he's moving around well. So reacting off that, some things that you're going to see next season from us. And some things I have written down are really about the multiplicity in the run game, right? So we run a lot of zone scheme, a lot of gap scheme, and I think those things are going to be huge for us, being able to stay multiple in the run game. And then the things that go off of that, the play action that you see with Tyler Warren getting to the flat. I think you saw some slow screen, which has been a big trend in the NFL. Whether it's throwing the ball back to Jonathan Taylor on a slow screen or throwing the ball to Tyler Warren on a slow screen where you really sell the run. I think those are going to be really key points going into next season, and we're going to need to do that well if we're going to see success.
Yeah, I just hope Daniel's healthy enough to do bootlegs, to do all that stuff outside the pocket, to extend plays, because I think that's really where he's at his best.
Yeah.
I just want to see a lot of Tyler Warren this season. It's interesting too, at one point early in the season, we were off to a really hot start. Tyler Warren could have been eligible for making All-Pro at fullback. He had played enough snaps at fullback, and we do some interesting things with him at fullback. When Daniel got hurt, Shane kind of went away from that. I want to see that more. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I think so. I thought it was really cool when teams would really get up and try to stop the run. When Shane Steichen, instead of going to the pass, he would put Tyler Warren at the F spot, the fullback spot, and they're just going to run ISO. They're going to run the ball right at you, and you're going to have to stop Jonathan Taylor. So yeah, that's something we're not afraid to get into. And I think we should definitely do that next year. I was going to be interested too, I want to hear your thoughts on this, about quarterback sneaks. And if Tyler Warren's going to come in motion and take the quarterback sneak, that's been a big trend in the NFL. We tried that against Houston. He fumbled the snap. That was at the point with Daniel Jones with the broken tibia. And that's why we decided to have Tyler Warren take that snap at the quarterback sneak. It went terribly. He fumbled the ball. I assume we just didn't rep it enough.
Yeah.
But I wanted to know what your thoughts were on the quarterback sneak.
Like asking if we should do it with Tyler or Daniel.
Yeah.
If Daniel's healthy, like he had like 4 early QB sneaks for touchdowns, so I'd rather Daniel do it. I want to see Tyler like do quarterback stuff out of like Wildcat and maybe throw a pass. We saw him do that at Penn State, but we haven't seen him do that in the NFL yet.
Yeah.
Especially because he's a lefty that could really like throw in an extra little surprise for like a fun play call or something like that. But I'd rather have Daniel sneak the ball than Tyler.
Well, that's an interesting part too, is if Tyler Warren plays Wildcat quarterback and more of like what you think of when you hear the word Wildcat. And at Penn State, they did some really cool things with running quarterback counter with Tyler Warren, power read with Tyler Warren handling the ball. Like you said, he throws passes at Penn State. we put a lot on his plate last year with all the motions we ran and having him play, like you said, the F spot.
Yeah, we have big crushes on Tyler Warren for sure.
Yeah, right.
And he's better than Colton Loveland. I saw PFF came out and ranked the tight ends and had Colton Loveland above him. I get the Bears finished the season off well, but Tyler Warren is a more complete player, and I want to make that known. I want our take out there that we're Tyler Warren stands on this podcast.
That's right.
So let's jump into the best and worst offensive performances from last season.
Sounds good.
As we talk about strategies and schemes for next season, we want to look at some of the things we do want to do again and some of the things we want to stay away from. So I will let Vince start. We're going to start with offense. Okay, so what was your best offensive performance from last season?
The best performance from last season to me on offense was the game against the Chargers.
Okay.
We won the game, scored 38 points.
I'm going to pull up that box scores so I'm familiar.
That's great. So, you could feed me the numbers here.
Yeah, but why do you say that's the best?
We scored 20 points in the first half. I think we finished the game strong as well. I think from start to finish, we did a lot of different things when it came to big plays, and then also kind of weaseling our way on fourth down. We had a lot of clutch plays in that game where the guys showed a ton of poise and executed. Though we ran a lot of different stuff that, again, kind of going back to the schemes that I want to see next year, I think it's going to be a lot of the same stuff. So yeah, with the box score, I'd like to definitely probably start out with that and see kind of what the reactions are for the box score.
Sure. So we won that game. We put up 38 points. We won 38-24. I think being at SoFi again, that was our second game in SoFi. I thought, that helped. Probably amped them up because we lost a game we should have won there against the Rams.
That's a great point.
Earlier in the year, so I'm sure the team was motivated to get that done. Okay, so Daniel Jones goes 23 of 34, 288, 2 touchdowns, no picks. It's good. JT 16 for 94, hat trick on the ground, 3 touchdowns, 5.9 a pop, 120 total rushing yards. Pierce 5 for 98, Warren 69, a touchdown. Was that his first touchdown? I think it might have been.
It might have been, unless he had one against he had the Raiders one on the out.
Oh yeah.
That might have been his second.
Yeah. Pittman 758, a touchdown. And then just a couple JT 3 for 38, and then a couple catches for Amir. Adnan Mitchell 1 for 8. R.I.P. Mo had 1. Anthony Gould had 1. So, what stuck out to you? What schemes and things stuck out to you from that game?
Well, I think
that you want to see coming into this season.
Right. Well, I think you heard Shane Steichen talk about before the season how important completion percentage was. And I think you see, Daniel Jones completing a lot of passes, getting high yards per attempt, and doing so. That's normally a sign of that. Also, I'm a big believer in yards per carry is a sign of the health of the offense, and there Jonathan Taylor is 5.9.
5.9, yeah.
That's really efficient. We talked about the fear of giving Jonathan Taylor too many carries.
19 touches in this game, and he has 120 total yards and 3 touchdowns.
That's a ton of damage.
That's what I want from Jonathan Taylor consistently. I don't want 30 plus carries. That's why the running back depth scares me a little bit.
Right.
So, yeah, I see why you picked this game. That's
right. It's definitely an efficient game. Some of the things I've written down, kind of going back to the multiplicity of the run game, right? We ran same side pin and pull. We ran crack toss on 4th and short and converted. One thing about this Colts team, when things were really humming on offense, we were not running run plays just for the heck of it. We were not running just inside zone with the thought of we're gonna get 3 or 4 yards. We're coming out, we're catching them in different fronts and saying, oh, you're in this front, we're gonna run same side pin and pull. You're in this front, we're gonna run crack toss, and we're gonna execute. So those are the types of ways that you get Jonathan Taylor to 6 yards a carry. And I think through the first 10 weeks, and I'll go back and look it up at some point, but he was just so efficient in those first 10 weeks. We had the throwback screen to JT, which is where he got some of his receiving yards. That was a slow screen. We had a play that was really popular on 3rd and 17. against cover 3, we ran empty and hit Alec Pierce on a deep corner route, attacking the player that was playing the deep third.
Mm-hmm.
You had the curl route, bait him, and then you threw the deep corner behind it. Alec Pierce gets a 40-yard catch as he did in almost every game, it felt like. Get a 40-yard catch.
Yeah.
We already talked about Tyler Warren got a touchdown in the red zone to beat
more of that.
Guys.
More of that, Shane. We're big Notre Dame fans too, and what sticks out to me, like Marcus Freeman talks a lot about, which I think is important, the second and third quarter, how important they are.
Right. Yeah.
Like almost underrated in a way is how you perform in the second and third quarter, and we go 17 points and 15 points in the second and third quarter.
That's a great point. I didn't necessarily look at that, but that just goes to show you that kind of the meat and potatoes of the offense kind of happened in the middle chunk of that game, and kind of finding our rhythm.
17-0. They put up goose egg in the second quarter, so that's huge.
It's really like the turning point in the game.
Yeah, put them in the hole.
At it that way. Another big play that you're gonna find out. This is the play that I maybe have a crush on, that I have done a stan of, if you will. It's power read, but this time with a little wrinkle. We had the option of a tight end shovel with Tyler Warren. I thought that was going to be a big play for us last year if Anthony Richardson won the starting job. Obviously he didn't, but you still come out and run power read. The defensive end aggressed into the backfield. You hand the ball to JT, and he beats everyone to the corner. His third touchdown also was untouched. So like this was just a really efficient game for Jonathan Taylor, and it, like we talked about, the cost of it for Jonathan Taylor isn't that much because he didn't get a lot of carries, which is just beautiful.
That's a defense with some names on it too. It's not like, I mean, they have Derwin, they have Khalil Mack, like Jim Harbaugh coached.
That's
defense.
probably why. It's a good team. That's part of why I chose it too. Is I think that was a game where it was on CBS. We had JJ Watt on the call with our guy Ian Eagle.
The Colts got JJ Watt, like, side note, got JJ Watt a ridiculous amount of times.
We'll have to dig into that for sure.
And it was funny because we had JJ Watt against the Texans. We had JJ Watt against the Steelers with his brother on the field.
Which
like,
you're going to find out. We're not a fan of that.
Conflict of interest. And JJ Watt's a good guy. I'm not like, he's fine. We hated him as a player.
And he showed the Colts a lot of respect. I like what JJ Watt has to say.
JJ Watt was on the call for the Colts way too often.
It's just like another example of this would be Drew Brees doing a Saints game. Which we've talked about.
Conflict of interest.
You're going to see, we're not fans of commentators being allowed to do that. But that's a little bit of a side note. But those are kind of my thoughts on the Colts-Chargers game.
Got anything else to add?
Not really. I think that's pretty much the bulk of it. Let's hear, Connor, what game did you have for your best game
so I had
last season on offense?
Best offensive game. I had Tennessee week 8. Okay, let me pull up the box score.
I'll pull it up too.
We win another game with 38 points, 38-14. My notes: complete balance in the offense. So Jones goes 21 of 29, 272, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Taylor, 153 rushing yards, 3 total touchdowns, another hat trick for him. I think he had 2 on the ground and 1 in the air, if you can spot check me on that. Game was over by the 4th. It was 31-7 going into the 4th quarter. We had 420 total yards on 52 plays.
Oof. Yeah, I can see here some serious damage.
Yeah. So I think time of possession was off because they had the ball like the entire 4th quarter. So they had 34 minutes of possession. That's misleading because of garbage time. The game was over by the 4th quarter. The big thing we talked about, Jonathan Taylor, 9.1 yards per rush as a team. What did he average on the ground? 12.8
on 12 carries.
On 12, yeah, he had 12 for 153, 2 touchdowns, and then he added, I think, another one in the air.
He did.
2 for 21 and a touchdown.
That was a touch pass, I believe.
Yeah, so it's basically
I think it might have been out of empty, but he also had the 80-yard run where he ripped it on a pin and pull down the sideline. Where he
not even his longest run of the season, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's unreal.
And then I looked it up, 7.5 yards per pass attempt. So
Yeah.
that's, I mean, again, only 52 plays and 420 yards. Like, that's insane amount of yard getting. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It was an efficient game.
3 for 4 touchdowns in the red zone. So I just thought we clicked. We clicked so well, and the balance was perfect. We were running it well. We were throwing it well. Give me some of the receiving numbers.
It really was. Michael Pittman had 8 for 95 in a score. That was a contested catch he had. Alec Pierce had 2 for 69, no touchdowns, but just monster deep threat. Tyler Warren 4 for 53 is a pretty easy game for him there. Josh Downs 3 for 39. He had a touchdown on an off schedule scramble from Daniel Jones. Jonathan Taylor had the touch pass, which we talked about. He had 2 for 21. Amir Abdullah had 1 for 3, and then Ashton Dillon had 1 for -8.
-8.
Was that a trick play, or I can't remember what that play was, but I'd have to go back and check.
He might have. Yeah, he might have. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to remember.
We even got Riley Leonard in the game.
Riley, we love big Riley guys here. By the way, big Riley fans. Yeah, the reason I chose this game is because I want to see balance like this from this offense. I mean, that's such an easy talking point and easy thing to say. But if we could just look like how we looked in this game, or even be 80% of this on our worst day, like this is what I want from this offense. This is how this offense should look. I think this is peak Shane Steichen, to be honest.
It was peak. They ran a lot of good stuff. I remember me and Connor were both at this game, and I just remember after it was one of Alec Pierce's deep catches. I said that the Colts just looked unstoppable in offense, and that's really how we felt at this point. It seemed like even if you did yes to 4th down, we would simply go for it. Let me see, because I know I talked about going for it against the Chargers, where we converted a few 4th downs. We went 1 for 1 in this game, but only 3 for 9 on 3rd down. Maybe we just didn't have to convert a ton, but we just had so many chunk plays from different guys, showing a lot of balance there. You already mentioned the red zone was good. The yards per rush, it's just insane. 9.1. I mean, you're probably not going to lose NFL games if you're
yeah.
9.1.
Realistically, you're not going to get 9.1 yards per carry every game, obviously. But,
yeah, that's what happens in college games. But
yeah.
that just goes to show you how we were clicking as the offensive line. I know we worked wide zone in that game a little bit to set up the pin and pull, so it goes to show you more of the multiplicity in the run game.
Yeah.
So really impressive couple of games there. And the Colts had a couple other games too that makes it hard to decide what the best games were.
Yeah, they're all early in the season. So we shared a worse offensive game, right?
Mm-hmm. And I think it's good because we probably don't want to talk a lot of bad ball on this show. We don't like bad offense,
yeah.
as many of you don't either.
And by the way, we stayed away from the Rivers games because we're previewing this season, and Daniel at the helm, so we stayed away from those games.
Yeah.
So we both picked at Pittsburgh. We were doomed at Pitt. I think the last time we won there was 2008. Yeah. Last time we won at Pittsburgh. So I can think of some horrendous performances at Pittsburgh, but this was one of. Speaking of the Colts, right? The time Antonio Brown slid down the on prime time, down the post. Andrew Luck had a butt safety in Pitt.
Oh yeah, that was when the Steelers had their Bumblebee jerseys.
Yeah. So, but this might take the cake for the most excruciating at Pittsburgh game I've ever watched.
This was, and someone made the point to me that Shane Steichen's has played the Steelers really well in his time here with the Colts, which is true. We've won a couple times at home against them. But to Connor's point, at Pittsburgh just never seems to go well, especially when it's later in the season and it gets cold and you're on the grass. We're not a big fan of people saying we're a dome team.
These guys
we
have
can
been,
get into if you want to.
Yeah, me and Vince don't really buy that talking point. First of all, every NFL team has facilities indoor and outdoor, so wherever you're playing that week, you can practice for those conditions. These guys come from all over the country. So, like, just because they play in a dome doesn't mean that they played high school football, they played college football outdoors. Like the real factor I think is like you can't replicate warm and cold weather sometimes, and so I think that's more of a factor than a dome team. We're just not big fans of that take.
And I think like a couple of examples of this, what Connor's talking about. Jonathan Taylor played at Wisconsin. I mean, Quentin Nelson played at Notre Dame. It gets pretty cold there.
It gets pretty cold. Like DeForest played at Oregon. Not the greatest weather in the Pacific Northwest.
I will say I'm a little bit of a quarterback sympathizer. When quarterbacks, like for instance, Jared Goff was I think a California guy, high school.
Two is another one.
Two is another one who plays like, if you do play the quarterback spot in the South or in California and all you're dealing with is warm weather, then potentially that could follow you into the NFL and cause some ball handling.
But also Aaron
Rodgers. On the flip
side,
the other team deals with the same conditions.
Yeah, but Aaron Rodgers also like thrived in Green Bay, and he's a Cali kid.
He's also a Cal kid.
Yeah,
right. So there's even that is. It's a lame excuse.
Yeah, I don't want to drag this out too much, but anyway, we don't think that contributed to the bad effort this game. So the notes I had for this game, week 9, entered the game 7-1. Steelers were 4-3. 6 turnovers, 3 fumbles lost. Daniel throws 3 picks. Box score, I had box score misleading because of garbage time points and stats. So that's why it ended up 27-20. But the actual, if you look at, what's it say there? Yeah, like we score first, but then they go 17 in the second. And then we go goose egg, second and third. There's your Marcus Freeman.
Right.
So it was 17-7 entering the fourth, and then they scored 10 more points.
And then we scored the last touchdown, to your point, which
Josh Downs was which is garbage time. I had go scoreless in the second and third quarter. Can't happen. I can't stress enough how underrated your performance in the second and third quarter is. We had more possession than them.
Mm-hmm.
We had 32-28, I think, possession, which is like having more possession and getting 6 turnovers is just can't happen. And then this is the opposite of the Tennessee game, 2.9 yards per rush.
Right.
So let's look at some of the raw box scores.
And I think kind of what happened there with the run game is whenever you have, Shane Steichen calling the plays and an offensive mind, I talked a lot about gap scheme and how important that was for us getting like big runs. If they're lining up and putting a bunch of pressure on the line of scrimmage, lining up with 5 guys, lining up with.
They were doing some interesting things with their front.
Right, doing some things with the front, making that really muddy.
5 sacks, 29 yards lost.
Yeah, it goes into the pass rush as well. I think that had us out of rhythm, and then what you see here is Shane Steichen kind of get away from the run game. Jonathan Taylor goes 14 carries for 45
only 55 yards total on the ground. I think there's a QB sneak touchdown too for Daniel Jones.
It was.
Yeah, and then he throws 50 times. I think it's the only game he touched 50 for the Colts.
That's a good point. And I think when we got away from the run game, we went a lot to the play action.
Yeah, bad picks too. Bad picks.
Inefficient game. The picks. I remember one of them was an RPO pick that was tipped.
And they were just momentum killers too. When we thought we could start clawing our way back into the game.
That one was
sure.
It
sucked the air out of the offense, and it was awful.
They did some stuff like messing up the fronts, and then they had a linebacker hiding on like a little shallow cross. Daniel just throws the ball right to his arms. So it was just a really muddy game. And I think the takeaway from this is like we got to be able to run the ball against these looks, and maybe that's where we do go to the Tyler Warren at F and then just run the ball a little bit more at you, because
he had 5 for 26 receiving.
5 for 26.
Bad efficiency.
Yeah, also bad.
Long of 7 yards.
Not really drawn.
Pittman had a good game, which is ironic because he plays for them now.
5 for 26 for Tyler Warren.
Yeah. Pierce had 6 for 115. Deep threat.
And then Daniel Jones, 2 of his losses were strip sacks. So
Tyler Goodson had a catch. Our favorite. Where's he playing this year?
I'm not sure. You might want to look that up.
Yeah, let's check for Tyler. Our favorite.
But to go on about like if we would have just played a little bit more of a smash mouth game, put Tyler Warren at fullback, maybe just ran the ball a little more, maybe sacrificing some efficiency. Pittsburgh did not have a good game on offense. Off of 6 turnovers to only get, so they had 27 points. Aaron Rodgers had 5.8 yards an attempt. That's nothing to celebrate.
Yeah.
He also, didn't we get a fake punt in that game? Like there were times like we could have taken, to Connor's point, we could have taken control of the game and.
It was a Rodney Thomas rush, right? Yeah, it's right here, 1 for 3. Yeah, that was aggressive because we were deep in our own half.
Just a lot of PDs.
That's good. Well, when you throw 50 times.
Yeah.
Bad. So this is the word. But if we're losing by, I guess like I said, the box score is misleading. But we still only lost by 7. Like there are some takeaways from this game that give you hope about the floor of this offense going into this year. What are we going to do with that 9 for 115 from Michael Pittman? Where's that going to come from this year? The answer right now is I don't know. I guess Westbrook-Akine has had a decent start to camp, but like I don't want to be relying on that guy too often.
Yeah, it has been a headline in camp that we lack depth at receiver, and to Connor's point, like.
And Pierce is not practicing right now, so that contributes.
To it. So Ashton Doolin's getting a lot of the Alec Pierce reps right now in camp, but to Connor's point, we're gonna have to replace some of these numbers somehow. Even like going back, I looked at the Dolphins game for like one of our good games on offense, and you look up and Michael Pittman has 80 yards and a score, and it's like you can't just pull that out of thin air. So someone's gonna.
It's gonna at least gonna have to come from more Warren and a lot more Downs.
So you replace it in the aggregate. In a way you can, for sure.
But it's just like. You really better hope somebody doesn't get hurt. So, I don't want to drag this out too long. So let's keep going. What was your best defensive performance of the season?
Yeah, so I'm not as much of a defensive guy as I am on offense, but my game for this one is Colts Dolphins.
Yeah, I also was that. We broke the week 1 curse finally. That was my takeaway from. Finally we win week 1. We just need to break the Jacksonville curse now, but that's a different topic for a different day. So I had notes for this game. I also chose this game as best defensive. We didn't plan ahead, guys. We talked about this right before we got on. So we're sorry that we're both picking the same game. Me and Vince kind of just think alike sometimes, but
and we do value raw reactions too.
Yeah. So. But we do have different worst performance for defense, but we do have the same best defensive. And the notes I had for this game were broke week 1 curse, gave up 8 points, which that 8 came in garbage time.
Yeah.
So we really damn near shut him out. Tua looked like the worst QB in football. Tua had a bad year last year, but I think we started that. Like we broke his confidence from the get-go. What I noticed is Cam Bynum had a bigger impact on the defense than I even realized. I knew it was a good signing, but
it was his first game for us, and he has a huge impact.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Cam Bynum. 3 total turnovers and 3 sacks. It's a good recipe for winning football games. Dolphins had 21 minutes of possession, so we stayed off the field on defense. Got the defensive guys some rest. Got the D linemen rest, so we can get after it. It was our first time seeing Lou's defense, and we finally started blitzing and doing things different. That's what I really want to talk about is like Lou's strategy for how he conducts defense. I thought he was going to be similar to Gus Bradley in a way. That is not what we got at all last year.
Well, I think a big talking point about Lou has been about how game plan specific he can be, and with this game against Tua, I went back expecting to see a lot of like mid blitz and really getting after him, which to your point, we did blitz, but it was a lot of like 5-man blitzes with some twists.
Yeah, but it wasn't just spamming. It wasn't just spamming the 4-man rush and sitting back in zone like Gus Bradley did. That we actually did it. Speaking of, I also had Ashton Doolin got a pass rushing snap that game.
Oh,
Do you remember
that's
that?
right. Yeah, that was really funny.
Weird, strange.
Oh,
But I don't know.
Latu got a pick, which that was on 3rd and 3. We brought forward just like a simulated pressure. So like again, like just being creative. Like even if we are being a little more bland,
Just to
still-
see creativity
still
made me
being
happy is
creative.
my point, is because we weren't creative.
Like here's one for you. Like this is 2nd and 3. Like you say advantage offense. You bring Kenny Moore, who's not on the team anymore. We're gonna miss him. Comes off the edge for a blitz on a play action snap, and he gets a strip fumble on Tua Tagovailoa. We recover. So to your point about like the time of possession gets super wacky because we turned Tua over I think twice in the matter of like 3 snaps. So that was a huge turning point in the game. Whenever you get turnovers like this, like there's a huge chance you're gonna win. The pick for Bynum was an overthrow on a 3-man rush. So again, like this was one of those like I think like on the earlier downs we're trying to get Tua off of his timing, so like drop everyone into coverage and then like muddy up the look as far as like RPOs go, which is kind of Tua's strength. But I think like that's going to be a great point though. Is like blitzing and how we utilize that. That's going to be a big storyline for how we do next year with Lou.
Yeah,
second
and-
in his scheme.
And I want to make a point about Nick Cross came out the gates firing. Nick Cross is not on the I know you think like Nick Cross is not on the team anymore, but it's like a preview for that role. Lou's got a very specific role for the strong safety. And I think Nick showed that last year, and that is what you want to see from AJ Halsey this year, right? You want to see being able to do a lot of different things. So Nick has 10 tackles, 1 sack, and a pressure this game. And AJ Halsey, I'm hoping, can replicate that Nick Cross role. Do you think he can do that?
I think there's a chance. I mean, I was a little surprised to watch Nick Cross go, especially thinking that Lou Anarumo liked him. But I think, maybe later in the year you see some things and
Hunter Wohler is currently
him out.
on the depth chart, the starting strong safety. He didn't play last year. He was a rookie. They really liked him in camp. Had an injury, missed the whole year. But he is a versatile player. I think my prediction is you're going to see, if you're watching the Colts this year, I think you're going to see a lot of Hunter Wohler on 1st and 2nd down and some creative hybrid linebacker safety kind of stuff.
Yeah, 3 safeties on the field. You're going to see some big nickel. I totally agree with that. I think that's going to be something
They like him. They
for
like
you guys
him a lot.
watching to really take a look at is who are we lining up on defense? Because so many people will just go into the depth chart and think oh, this is the group that's going to be out there. But it's that's not always how it works, especially when you have a creative play caller with Lou Anarumo.
Yeah. Who else had Zaire at a TFL? Bye-bye. Not big Zaire fans. Kenny had a PD. Hoping for the best for him. Yeah. What's it? Cam Bynum, 2 PDs, a pick. Perfect game from him as a free safety. Who else had? Ebicom had a sack. And Quiddy had a TFL. These are all guys that are not on the team anymore, but I just want to see, Ashton Doolin had a pass rushing snap. This is what Lou Anarumo's defense, if you really want to see him at his best in terms of play calling, I think this could be tape to watch.
Right, for sure. Now the good news is we have 2 different games as far as the worst defensive performance goes of last season.
Yeah, who'd you pick?
I think even with these wins, a lot of these, there's even more roster turnover than I thought on defense. And I think looking at the stat sheet, you kind of see that. But this was one of the worst games of any defense last year in the NFL. It's the game against the 49ers. With Phillip Rivers, you say the season was already
we couldn't cover
going downhill.
Water if we had a towel that game. That game was awful. It was a hard watch.
It was. Kyle Shanahan, the head coach for the 49ers, really had the Colts scrambling on defense the entire game. They ripped some runs early, 21 carries for 117. Got those linebackers playing a little bit mindless. And then Brock Purdy just tore them up after that. He had 5 touchdown passes, 8.7 in attempts.
Yeah, this game was.
295.
I was there live too. Prime time. It was miserable.
It was. Yeah, I mean.
What I do want to point out though, the reason this is the obvious answer. I think everybody was kind of if you're watching this and you're thinking what was the worst defensive performance last year, like you're probably like, oh, the 49ers. But the reason I didn't pick this is because look at some of these names like Pratt, Cross, Mitchell, Ebukam, Franklin, Gallimore, Odom, like these guys, like almost, almost like all those guys are
Quiddy Pay.
Yeah, like those guys are gone, and this is not the roster that's going to be taking the field week 1. So I did not want to pick this game because I don't think it's a good representation. Like Sauce and Ward are both hurt this game, didn't play.
Right.
We have a new defensive line. I don't even, did Buckner play this game?
He tried to play, and it didn't go well.
Yeah.
Because he was, I think, already banged up at this point. But I think if anything, it goes to show you that when guys get hurt, Lou Anarumo's defense could really struggle because of how complex he is. I think some of these linebackers, like even going into this year, it's going to be really important that they understand the scheme well because it's a complicated scheme.
Yeah, but like guys like Mitchell, like Jonathan Edwards, like I'm not expecting significant chunks of snaps from them, so this game's almost like invalid, in my opinion, for a preview.
It definitely can be, which is why I'm really excited to talk about your game where we played the worst.
So I picked the Chiefs game, okay? And the reason and obviously we only give up, 23, which isn't bad. However, it's the magnitude of the failure for me. We enter the fourth quarter up 20-9, okay? Totally collapse. What else I have? This game derailed the season, really, because of, like I said, the magnitude of the failure. And I think the defense's confidence was shot after this game. And both Sauce and Ward played and got cooked this game. I said KC had 41 minutes of possession this game. There was overtime, but 41 minutes of possession is gross. They had 494 total yards. Mahomes goes 352 and 141 to Rice. He was playing really well. It made our secondary look exposed, which these are the guys you are going to see this year, minus Kenny. Bynum, Cross, Sauce, Ward, all on the field. KC had 33 first downs to our 10.
This is really interesting.
Yeah, to our 10, which awful.
They kind of dominated this game. 494 total
We do
yards.
get 4. This is where it's misleading. We get 4 sacks. I did some research into it. All in the first half. So 0 in the second. Mahomes was doing whatever he wanted in the backfield in the second half. And I know it's Patrick Mahomes, but still, like, you got to get pressure on him. Casey goes 2 for 2 on 4th downs in the second half.
Right, which we could go ahead and add those to the third down efficiency. Because let's say you go 2 for 2, 4th down. You go 7 for 16 on 3rd down. You really converted 9 of 16.
And again, with all this, we're up. This all happens in the 3rd and 4th quarter. We're up 20-9.
It looks like this might have even been a defensive penalty game. We had 11. What do you know? Who are we playing against? Oh, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, interesting.
It just gives me it gives me questions for Lou's second half defense. You know what I mean? Like, why was he being too conservative? Was he not? Like, why did we collapse so badly? And I don't think you can just point the finger and be like Mahomes. Like, I think there's some scheme stuff here that's telling.
I got some stuff to say about this because I did watch this game recently, and I think a lot of the goals were to play man coverage in this game. To your point, this is why you could be worried about this season, about like the selling point that we sold you last episode was about this secondary and how good they are, especially if they're healthy. This is a game where you did have Sauce and Mooney Ward. You had Kenny Moore, which at the time you thought this could be potentially the best secondary in the NFL. And we ran a bunch of man coverage. We're trying to take away the RPOs, trying to play with a lot of inside leverage, bring a safety in the box. Latu had the pick. They set us up for an easy touchdown.
Yeah.
the things that worked in the first half didn't work so well in the second half. They beat us on deep crossers, which is a big
the
tough point
the
for man
outstanding citizen Rashid Rice was killing us on the crossers.
He is a good citizen. And that's really where they did their damage. I mean, 33 first downs. I mean, it really makes you sick to your stomach. But I think maybe we didn't adjust well in that game. But the selling point of this team being the secondary this year, kind of going back to the schemes and tactics, like I think you're going to really want to play man coverage this year, having the lineup that we do. But a coach recently, it was a college coach, I don't remember who it was, but they described man coverage as being like salt. You know, it's really good. It's really good until it starts to kill you. So you know, I am expecting a lot of man coverage. I'm expecting a lot of press. But Sauce Gardner and Mooney Ward can do it all. But they were getting beat out there.
They were getting beat this game.
Specifically Mooney Ward and Kenny Moore, if I recall correctly. It was
and Mooney Ward was fresh off of his second concussion.
Yeah.
But still,
you had those guys out there, and it didn't go so well. Let's see, they had 11 drives, and yeah, just really struggled to get off the field.
Okay, so that kind of wraps what we're expecting. Again, we just did this today to kind of preview for you guys what the best version of this team could look like and what the worst version of this team we kind of want to stay away from. Lastly, I just realized that we have a game this week.
We do. We're gonna go out to the Patriots. Have a joint practice. There's one of those. This is an away matchup, and then we're gonna play on Thursday. Is that right?
Yeah. So we didn't plan for this, but just asking you off the top of your head, like, what do you expect going into that game? Like, or what do you? Sorry, not expect. Like, what are you looking for out of this team? Who are you watching?
I think this is going to be the part where you look at kind of the training camp battles. You're probably not going to see a lot of starters in this game, it being the first preseason game.
I want to see Wally.
I think, some of those guys that you've been looking for on defense, Wally, Wohler.
Some of the backup running backs too. How does DJ Giddens look?
The backup running back spot's is a camp battle. The other edge rusher spot that we talked about last episode, guys like Caden Curry, seeing those guys get out there.
Ballard going back to the Ballard press conference, he had some good things to say about Caden Curry.
Yeah, he does like his Big Ten players, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So those are going to be some things that we're looking for come Thursday against the Patriots.
Yeah, it's game week. Okay, I think that just about wraps this episode. Thank you for joining us, guys. Please like, share, and subscribe. We're having a lot of fun doing this. I hope you're having even more fun watching. So yeah, I'm Connor. This is Vince. This is Tiny P. And Chris Ballard's shirt is still too small. And we'll see you next week. Go Colts. See you guys.
See ya.